We all have that little voice in our head that tells us to shoot for the stars, right? Whether it's professionally or our love lives, you name it. But what separates those who constantly question themselves from those who actually make it happen? Which one are you? That's today's situation, y'all, and the conversation starts right now.
Situations and conversations with Renee. Situations and conversations with Renee. Real situations, real conversations. Empowering the community leads to elevation. Entertainment and education, no better time than now.
Welcome to Situations and Conversations. I am your host, Renee. So happy that you are joining us today because we are going to be having a very enlightening conversation. It's all about work, faith, and dedication. I've got my girl, Mary J. Morton here. Yes, our Mary J. Here to share all about her journey, transitioning from working in corporate America to being in the entrepreneurial space. And then some. I think she's gonna have a lot of things to share. She also has a book out called Now. We're gonna talk about it. Not just yet, not now, but in a minute, but right now. Mary J. Morton is here. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Renee, for inviting me. I'm so glad to just share this space with you today, so thank you.
I can't believe that we know so many people in common, and we just met like months ago.
I know.
This is insane.
But it was for now.
Look at that.
Now.
In God's timing.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of timing, let's talk about how you made this shift. So you have a full background in corporate America, yes?
I do.
So start us off there and tell us about your journey and transitioning into being an entrepreneur.
Yes, so I worked for Nike, the global powerhouse Nike, for about 22 years, and all in the space of HR, human resources. And in 2016, I made the decision now, which was then, that I wanted to retire in 2018. So I started working on my exit strategy for that. And when 2018 rolled around, I was ready to make the transition. So that's just a little snippet of how I got to the place where, and let me just back up a little bit, because the truth is that in 2016, I really felt like my season and my time in that particular role was coming to an end.
Yeah, I was gonna ask
you know how you
like,
just
how
feel
did you
that?
know?
Yeah, it's like the old folks would say, it's in your knower. And I just had that feeling that I could have a greater impact doing something different. And so in 2016, that's when I made the decision. I gave myself a couple of years for that transition.
Okay.
And in 2018, I retired from Nike. So I say I retired from Nike, but then I entered into what I call my refirement.
Refirement.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Because you weren't quite done.
I
You just
wasn't.
knew that this was a chapter or maybe a whole book that you were closing over here to start something new. But where did you get the confidence to do that? So many people think about this. They stay in the contemplation stage and they're very comfortable in their corporate environment.
Yeah.
And they just kind of stay there.
Yeah.
How did you go nah, that's not for me anymore?
First of all, I had the support of my husband, my purpose partner, and
shout out to Charles. Charles is here.
Hey, honey.
Very supportive. Hey, we see you.
But I had his support, and I think that's really important that you have people who believe you and believe in you. And in fact, just saying that, I was speaking at a small gathering. It was a retreat just a few weeks ago with some amazing, phenomenal women leaders. And we were going around the table at dinner, introducing ourselves and how we knew the host. And one of the women said, I believe you. And then she almost like corrected herself and said, I believe in you. But it resonated with me as well as the host. And I really believe that it's not enough just to believe in you, but you gotta believe you. If you believe you, guess what? Everybody else in the room will believe you. So it really starts with that self-efficacy of believing in yourself and believing you. So for me, it was like, I believe that I can do this. And I already had a plan in place, so before even leaving Nike, I knew that I wanted to step into the realm of executive coaching because I spent most of my career advising, counseling executives and frontline leaders. So I knew that this would just be kind of this organic transition for me. So that helped.
So that helped.
It did.
I mean, okay, so that all sounds wonderful, right? Like you have all that, but did you ever get concerned about the money? Because that's where a lot of people get hung up, Mary. You know, like it's like, okay, I'm making this good money over here.
Yep.
If I step out, all the what ifs start creeping in, and the doubts and the not that not knowing, that's a beast.
It is. But I was willing to take a risk on myself. And so I will say this, probably 2 to 3 weeks into it when I didn't get that paycheck, you know.
You started saying,
I started, you know.
What's going on here?
I had conversations with my husband like, I feel like I'm not contributing to the household financially. And because he's such a wonderful husband, you know, he just reassured me, no, you're where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so I just rested in that and knew that the time for finances would come in, but also I planned for it too. So it wasn't like I didn't have anything in savings, didn't have any, you know what I mean? So I had money set up to help me through that transition. But I will say, it did mess with my mind for a minute. I'm like,
I'm sure, but that's where part of that faith along with the support comes into play that we talked about
absolutely
a little bit. And so let's get into this executive coaching, because we talked a little bit behind the scenes before the show started. It's like everybody says they can be a coach of everything. Got a life coach,
I know.
You know, you got your playing coach, you got your spouse coach.
It's true.
Now you have executive coaching. What does that mean exactly? Like what do you do?
So I help push humanity forward by empowering individuals and corporations to succeed and prosper. So as an executive coach, I work with high-performing executives in terms of how to lead through others. I mean, we're in this new landscape since COVID. And so I really help leaders to elevate their leadership to the next level. So we deal with all sorts of things in terms of how to build their own confidence, how to lead in turbulent times, and how to really check in with themselves. I remember facilitating a session once, and I had a VP in the room, and we were just talking about just the time in which we live. And he said something that really struck me, and he said, I have to check the weather that I bring to my team. And I was intrigued by that. I'm like, say more about this weather. And he goes, well, if I come in and I'm not positive, I'm gloomy, kind of the gloom and doom, I realize that my team will pick up on that and will begin to exhibit the same behaviors. So as a coach, I help leaders really identify, well, what am I bringing to the table? What weather am I bringing to my team today? How am I showing up? How am I using my power? Am I using it to empower others, or am I using it to power over others?
Ooh, that's
so
a big one.
so there's just such a great, I think, gratitude in helping people discover their full potential, but not just discover it, maximize it.
Thank you. Okay. Anyway, so no, I think that's really, really important. And so what we're going to do is take a quick break.
Okay.
Because now you're not only working with these high-powered executive folks for the executive coaching, you have a book.
I do.
Where the average everyday person can tap into some of your Mary J. Morton magic.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so you don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more Mary J. Morton on Situations and Conversations. Don't go away.
Thanks to our presenting sponsor, Oregon Health Authority, helping people and communities achieve optimum physical, mental, and social well-being.
My name's Yolanda Frazier. I am your elected president of our local NAACP Vancouver, Washington branch, 1139. I'd like to just share with you a little bit about why you should join our local branch. First and foremost, the NAACP was founded in the early 1900s in the basement of Black churches to really suss out our communities and what we can do to stop racism and, most importantly, fight for our civil rights. I want you to know that as your president, it is of utmost importance. It is an imperative that you think about joining our branch. So thank you so much. And I want to say that you all should have a blessed day, not just today, but every day.
Hi, my name is Nina and I'm the director of Stores of Adorn. We are a women's clothing boutique that specializes in having a diverse selection of brands, styles that fit all different body types. We are at our Lake Oswego location today. We are one of 3 stores and our 2 other stores in Portland. Thanks for coming in. We hope to see you at one of our 3 locations.
Welcome back to Situations and Conversations. I have author, executive coach, and founder of Wings LLC, Mary J. Morton, with us.
Yes.
Mary, we didn't even talk about Wings. Like, that's the name of your company.
It is.
Tell me about that. Like, it must stand for something, because I know you're just too fabulous to throw anything out there.
Thank you for that. But yes, it does stand for something. As I was transitioning out of Nike, and I was going through my coaching certification, we had to come up with a business name. And so being at Nike, which is such a competitive company, I started playing around with some ideas, and I came up with Wings because it was inspired by the Olympics. It's about going for the gold. And so it's an acronym for We Inspire Now Go Soar, and it's about reaching heights unimaginable. So that's how Wings was birthed.
I love that. I love
Thank
that.
you.
And then here you are birthing another project. Okay, so I had to look up your book. I had to go and get it because I am all about any sort of resource that helps us grow.
Yeah.
Right? And so earlier in the conversation, you were talking about how you've been in the rooms with high level, VPs and CEOs and managers and whatnot, and that's your executive coaching. But then you took it, to the masses with your book here.
Yeah.
And I love this. It's called Now, New Opportunities Waiting.
Yes.
Tell us about this book.
I am so excited about Now. It was back in September of 2023, and I was on my trail. I'm an avid walker. I love to walk. You should join me.
I would okay.
Come on now.
How long do you walk? And how
About
far?
4 miles. We'll just do 2.
I was gonna say, can we start off? Can I literally baby step my way? Because
Yes.
I'm on the lazier side of life, but I'll get with it.
Okay.
If it'll help me grow,
Come
I'm
on.
with it. Okay, so you were on your walk.
So I was on my walk, and I was meditating on a scripture that I had read the day before, and the very first word of that scripture was now. And it really resonated with me. And just in my heart, I could hear the word now so loudly, new opportunities waiting. I was like, what? This is dope. So I went home and I just started writing, and I realized that my life has really been based on seizing new opportunities, and I've missed a lot of opportunities. But I do believe that wherever you are in the world, we all have the same currency, and it's time. Okay. Each year grants us, 365 days, which means that you and I have 365 unique opportunities to seize. And so, but I also realize that many of us struggle with procrastination, self-doubt, and just putting things off, taking action. And so for me, I really wanted to get to the bottom of the answer to the question of what blocks us, what stops us from achieving the goals or, accomplishing the dreams that we've always thought of. And I realized that the answers are hidden deep within the depths of our fears, our doubts, and our insecurities. And I spent a lot of my life in that space. But imagine what life would look like if we would just embrace the idea of giving ourselves the opportunity to live life to the fullest and to maximize our potential. And so Now helps individuals do that. It's a 30-day journal.
I see,
but
yes.
It's not your typical journal where you are sitting and you're writing your thoughts and that's it. But it really challenges you with powerful questions on how to step into activation. It's not enough to just gain knowledge. We're such a knowledge culture. You can pick up your phone if you want to know anything. You could just pick up your phone and say, hey, Siri.
Right.
But when you get a revelation about your purpose in life and what you can contribute to life, you are living something that can be very, I think, powerful.
Well, you definitely have taken some time to really think about this, because when I was thumbing through your book before, I was like, okay, so every single day there's an awakening that you can have.
It's true, yeah.
Right, and you go exactly 30 days, and you break it down into the now portion,
right,
and then the opportunities, right, and then you go into the waiting.
Yeah, so it's built into 3 installments: 10 days on new, 10 days on opportunities, and 10 days on waiting. And it's not the kind of waiting like you're waiting for a seat at the table or you're waiting for an opportunity. quite honestly, it's the opportunity that's waiting on you to seize it.
Man, it's so deep. But like, again, if you can't see this, it's very difficult for people to embrace it, right? So like, we surround ourselves with supporting and powerful women.
Yes.
Right? Like, I went to a lovely get together that you had
Thank
a
you.
couple weeks back, and
Yeah.
it was fantastic. All the women were fabulous and amazing. So I can see it, right? Like,
Yeah.
but for those who are maybe not in the communities where they can directly, really physically see this in action, what do you say to those people?
I say, take a risk on yourself. Remember, we talked about believe you. You have to get to a place in life where you believe yourself, believe that that this is for you. And so this journal is like taking me on the journey with you.
Right.
It's a journey of self-discovery and transformation. And so really, it's about taking the first step. We can talk a lot, but until you actually take action, you're not going to realize the dreams and aspirations that you have for your life. So for those who feel a little stuck, you have to commit to something.
Right.
Right?
I agree. I agree. And it may sound challenging, or it may seem far-fetched depending on your circumstances or what what you're exposed to. But that's
Right.
the point of why I like to do this show.
Yes.
Because for me, this is my way of reaching at least one person.
Yeah.
Right? Like, somebody out here is saying, you know what? I see those ladies and I can see myself
Exactly.
in them.
Exactly.
Right? And maybe my experiences are different, but I have something I can grab onto. And you
Right.
literally have something that you can grab onto
I
right
like that.
here, where you can actually do exactly what you say: reflect, write,
Right,
and act.
Absolutely.
In that order.
Yes.
It's very important, right? Because I'm also the type of person where I need to see, like, I'm a visual person.
Yes, me
so I can
too.
think about something all day long.
Right.
But if I don't see it,
Right.
it's very difficult for me to really grasp it.
Yes.
So I like that you can reflect on it and then you write it out, like something about pen to paper, pencil to paper,
Right.
and not typing. That feels far removed for me.
Yes.
Like, that click, click, click is different than actually like writing something down. It
Yes.
seems there's more purpose in it.
Exactly.
And then making a commitment to then act on whatever it is. Like, one of your things here, I love this: reflect on a recent unexpected challenge or setback in your life.
Yeah.
How did it make you feel? And did it lead you to question the purpose of your current endeavors or goals?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just one piece of this book right here. So I'm highly suggesting that everybody act now. Get the
Thank
book
you.
now. It's available on Amazon. I mean, you can't have my 2 copies, but you can get a hold to it somehow, some way. Maybe if I'm feeling generous, I might give away 1 or 2, But Mary, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having
sharing
me.
your story, imparting some of your knowledge and wisdom. I mean, people pay you for this stuff, and you're here sharing. So thank you.
Thank you
For being so generous.
Oh no, thank you for the opportunity. I'm so excited, and I'm grateful for you and all that you're doing. I just wanted to take a moment
Thanks.
to say that what you do is impactful and it's far-reaching. So keep soaring, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that, my sister. You gotta stick around, because we're gonna have some fun in a little bit.
Okay.
Want to have some fun?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, yes, I know you all want to. So yes, you're gonna reflect, you're gonna write, and you're gonna act, and you're gonna get this book now,
Yes.
like right now. But then we're gonna come right back and have some fun with Hey Trey. Ooh, we're taking it to the table with Mary and the crew. Don't go away. More situations and conversations when we come back.
Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Oregon Health Authority, helping people and communities achieve optimum physical, mental, and social well-being.
My name's Yolanda Frazier. I am your elected president of our local NAACP Vancouver, Washington branch, 1139. I'd like to just share with you a little bit about why you should join our local branch. First and foremost, the NAACP was founded in the early 1900s in the basement of Black churches to really suss out our communities and what we can do to stop racism, and most importantly, fight for our civil rights. I want you to know that as your president, it is of utmost importance. It is an imperative that you think about joining our branch. So thank you so much. And I want to say that you all should have a blessed day, not just today, but every day.
conversations with Trey Renee. Situations and conversations with Trey Renee.
All right, y'all, welcome back to Situations and Conversations with me, Trey Renee. It is now time for my favorite part. It's Hey Trey. I don't know why I'm singing it like that, but I'm very excited to discuss the juicy topics that you all want to bring to the table. And so back with me is Mary J. Morton.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us again. And then my executive producer, Taylor Ford, is here.
As always.
As always. But this time, a fresh new face to the table. One of my bestie girlfriends, Tresonia Abraham, is here, who is a sports agent, okay? Big time, big time. So I'm glad you could be here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, so Taylor, you are always in charge of the Hey Trey topics. What do the people want to bring to the table today?
Okay, so I saw some in the thread last week, and it's kind of interesting to me because I've had this conversation with my dad previously. So, got a question posed to me. Is it still necessary to give a 2 weeks notice when you're transitioning out of a job and give the email or any type of conversation with your employer? Or are you fine these days just to say, you know what, thank you for the opportunity, but tomorrow's my next day, or my last day rather?
And I'm out, just like that.
Yep.
Wow, okay. I think this is actually a good time to have this conversation because Mary is here.
Yeah.
Thank you for hanging out because I'm old school and I just remember it was always polite and courteous and professional to give at least a 2 weeks notice when you are planning on leaving your position at a particular company or an organization. That being said, I know that times have changed. But have they changed that much, Mary?
I don't think so.
Okay, so what's your take?
So I believe it's customary, and it is the right thing to do to give a 2 weeks notice. If you're able to, there could be situations and circumstances where you can't, but I believe that you should give a 2 weeks notice. It allows for transition planning and that sort of thing, and for them to wrap up all your paperwork and make sure you get your final check on your last day.
Right, okay.
So
That's
I would
important.
stick with the 2 weeks.
What do you think, Tristan?
I'm old school too. The employees I had, to stress the transition and to be able to close them out and bring other ones in and have them possibly train a couple of my interns before they left. So that was important. So yeah, 2 weeks notice is, I think, definitely important.
See that part right there. I think that's where some people are like, I'm not giving the 2 weeks notice.
I was gonna say that's where my age.
See, let's
is
bring
gonna
the
show.
younger generation
My
into
age
this
is gonna show as a
conversation.
millennial because normally I do my best too. If someone told me that they didn't, I'm not gonna give them a side eye because let me ask you this, Trey. With any role you've had or any job you've had, has someone ever given you a 2 weeks notice when they were ready to fire you?
You know what? I can only recall being let go from a position once, and it was, we're going in another direction with the radio show, and so all of us got called into the office right after our morning show, and they were like, so thanks, but we're done. And it was literally it. No notice, no opportunity to even say goodbye to our listeners. Nothing.
And let me ask, was it on a Friday at like 3:30?
You know what? It was so traumatizing. I blocked out the day and the time, but I knew it was right after the morning show. So it was like 10:15 a.m.
Okay.
And I just remember thinking, wow, if it were me, I know that I would have had, or at least wanted to, give some sort of notice.
Sometimes you can't though, based on the circumstances.
You being the company or you
Yes.
being the employee?
The company.
Yeah, okay.
So like for instance, if you're going through a reduction in force, you want to announce that to the company, but there are times when you're not going to announce to the employee that you're terminating them until the day of termination. If you're a good employer, then you're going to give them a 2 weeks pay as if they were still there for 2 weeks. So to me, that kind of makes up for, today's your last day, but here's your final paycheck, which will include, the additional weeks.
Yeah. So is that like the severance pay that people talk about,
It's in
or something
addition
like
to.
that?
It's
Oh,
in addition to.
oh, okay.
If you're there long enough to get severance.
Okay, and if you're deemed good enough, I guess.
And also, let me ask you this too. And with that conversation, is that happening earlier in the day, or are you going to wait till end of the week, or a half an hour before that?
Basically, we want to know when the boss calls in, do you want to go, nah, I'll holler at you tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not coming in there. I'm not
Yeah.
going into your office today.
Or are you going to let them work a full day and then say, you know what, by the way, this last 30 minutes is your last 30 minutes?
My experience has been both in the morning and at the end of the day, especially depending on how many people you're talking to. If you're going through a reduction in force, you can't do them all in the morning, so you kind of have to stagger them. But yeah,
But I think that check will soften the blow a little bit.
A little bit,
A
a
little,
little bit,
right?
a little
Yeah.
bit, but still, I think that still, my gut says though, Tay, I think you should still give a 2 weeks notice. It's professional, and you never know, you might need that reference, and you don't want your name being soiled in the mud in any industry
That's
at
true.
any time.
That's true.
You know, as somebody who's unprofessional.
and what if you're invited back?
Ooh. Well, you
know what
wouldn't
I'm
be.
saying?
You wouldn't be if you were like, yeah, I'm out, deuces out the door, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
you
that
wanna
makes
leave on
sense.
the right term.
Man,
That's
you better
right.
say that again. Ooh, this was some good table talk right here. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Ooh, juicy stuff. And please keep those conversations coming for Hey Trey. We love them. All right, and I love you guys too. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Love and appreciate you for it. God willing, we'll be back together again next week for another episode of Situations and Conversations. Until then, please take excellent care of yourselves. That's the only way you're going to take care of anybody else, which is our mission. When you think me, think we. When you think you, think two. We'll see you next time.
Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Oregon Health Authority, helping people and communities achieve optimum physical, mental, and social well-being. And thanks to Tabiba Styles for hair and makeup glam, as well as Adorn Boutiques for my wardrobe. Situations and Conversations with Trey Renee is shot on location at Louisa Event Space in Portland. Situations and Conversations with Trey Renee is a Bum Juice Entertainment production in conjunction with Thomas Chung Films, Bloom Beauty Collective, and Allen and Unger Consulting Group. Situations and Conversations with Trey Renee. Watch Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on Fox 12 Plus.